and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 158. Wait, is 58? I think that's right. I'll double check. I think it's 58. 158 for the week of May 12th, 2014. Who is here with me this week?
Brock
wait.
Sager.
Oh, I'm Ryan Higgins.
Oh.
And who else is here with me this week?
I'm Brock Sager.
Toby.
And Jim Jokisch.
Special guest Jim Jokisch from all parts of the world. He's been on here a few times. You guys should all remember him.
Wait, you actually land? I thought you were in planes all the time.
I am in planes. I'm actually on a plane right now.
Nice.
Yeah, this is episode 158. For some reason, I thought that number was wrong, but no, that seems right. Jim, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good to have you back on here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
We're short a bunch of guys here. Charlie got free tickets to go see Godzilla. So he's out watching Godzilla right now. Asshole. It was my free ticket to Godzilla. I see how it is. I think Bryce and Omar, I think, are going to be here next week. So there's some couple big things to talk about this week, but not a lot of news. We got a couple questions. Maybe I'll read some emails. So, yeah, well, it's kind of a light episode this week. So let's
he always jinxes it.
Let's just start here and see what happens.
It's a light episode.
It's going to be a lot of TV talk this week too. So for not spoiler TV talk, but upcoming TV talk. So we'll get to that. But here's one. This is from 8-Bit Bourbon on Twitter.
8-Bit Bourbon?
Yeah. Who asks if Batman vs. Superman fails, or Superman vs. Batman, or Man of Steel 2.
Well, they got to put Batman first because the Superman franchise doesn't pump as much money.
Man of Steel versus Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Versus Green Lantern versus Green Arrow. Versus
Men of Steel or something.
It has to be called Man of Steel World's Finest, right? I mean, there's no other name for this movie, correct?
Yeah, that would be good.
That has to be what they're calling it. There's no other chance that they're going to call it anything else other than World's Finest.
Or they'll just call it World's Finest and slap that logo, Superman amount.
I mean, it's Man of Steel 2 is what the movie's called, but
Man of Steel, which has a completely different.
Toby, try turning your mic back on when you're trying to say something. Try it again.
I was just going to say it's World's Finest Man of Steel, which has a totally different meaning at that point.
Very well, possibly. Anyway, he says, if Batman vs. Superman fails, what Batman story would you like to see on the big screen? His choice is Court of Owls, which I think would be a lot of people's choice for kind of current comic arcs. Anyone got a pick they would want to see on the big screen? Toby and Jim are giving the Brock and Jim are giving each other the nod off of you go, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go,
go. No, you go, go.
Wow, I like to see Hush.
Yeah, I mean, with all the villains though.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't think they would do that.
Why not?
I think they pick two. I think they pick like Riddler and maybe Clayface. I just don't think they would do them well.
That'd be a super bounce back.
I'd like to see them do a miniseries of Long Halloween,
like a HBO miniseries or something.
Whatever, but just miniseries so like each episode is the designated segment.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see.
I would want. What would I want? Man, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think something like Dark Knight would work at some point. Dark Knight Returns, that is. But I don't know that I don't know that I want to see that like actually in a movie. I think that would be too hard to get away with. I don't know.
The cartoon was fantastic.
No Man's Land could be cool.
No Man's Land would be very good.
Oh, just a big earthquake that takes down Gotham City. That could be neat. It's going to be a lot of like little one-shot stories and things I could go with. Because I think when you go to these big epics, it's hard to do. I mean, that'd be cool to see No Man's Land, but now that I think about it, it's hard for like just a 2-hour movie. And you have bits of it in Dark Knight already, Dark Knight Rises. So, yeah. Killing Joke.
Killing Joke would be fantastic.
Mad Love.
But then you can introduce, you have to introduce Barbara Gordon, and then you have to immediately shoot her. So
Yeah.
Well, I think Death of the Family would work.
Just
Death in the Family.
Death in the Family.
Yeah.
Well, if they want to kill off Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of those could work well. All right, let's see. Let's see. This is from Stefano. He's got a couple questions here.
You're welcome for the package, Stefano.
Oh, yeah, he got a giant box
He
from
got
us
a
last
giant
week.
box.
Nice.
Packed nicely.
He says, how long DC's Forever Evil is taking the finish and their weeklies hot so far, meaning successful and on time, should events be done in weekly formats? No. I mean, it's a great idea, but I don't know. The weekly thing may be a little bit much. I think Marvel's hit an okay point doing them like half and half, so like twice a month. I think that's okay. They've been pretty successful with that recently. we'll see where the weeklies are when they finish. There's a lot of drop where something like Forever Evil has been just solid the whole run through. There has been hardly any drop. I just, Forever Evil's taking long to finish probably because Johns is busy with work and David Finch is a slow artist. So I think that's why.
Even if you look at it from a collector's point of view, I mean, weekly just kills the pocket. I mean, that's a lot of cash to put out for it to keep up with everything.
Well, for hardcore DC collectors, what they've done is they basically kind of got them back to even with the weeklies that are coming out because they've dropped so far down. So with the new books that are coming out, they're bringing them back up to that 52 number. So yeah.
Well, I think that putting them out weekly kind of it strains, especially if there's tie-ins or crossover issues with other books. It kind of strains like the telling of the story. Like those certain titles need to come out at that certain week. So if with a little bit more of a gap, like twice a month, you can kind of release tie-ins in between.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to hit that schedule, which can be really, really hard. So I don't know. I mean, I like the weekly books. I think it's great because I actually remember what happens from week to week.
Well, I read trades, so I don't have to worry about that.
We're still 2 weeks off from the release of Forever Evil #7. So good Lord, hopefully soon.
Well, apparently a couple people come out of it okay, so
I assume everyone does.
Yeah.
except for the bad guys. Stefano also asks, you've just been greenlit to write any story about any comic character. Who would you write and what would your story be? Oh, all my good ideas. No. They're going to steal my ideas and use them, and I'll have to sue. Who would I write? I mean, clearly I would want to write some, like, Sandman New Warriors crossover or something.
I think my colon just died and then just vomited all over itself.
I totally had a pitch. I feel like I've mentioned this on the podcast a long time ago.
No, you haven't mentioned this before.
I had an idea a long time ago of taking
far, far away.
The Sphinx, right, from Nova, and having him be like, I mean, he's a god, right? So he's supposed to be what the part of like these Egyptian gods were, and have him linked in with the gods from Sandman, not endless, but that whole pantheon of gods that Morpheus deals with, when he's fighting Lucifer for hell and everything, and trying to like find some way to merge those guys together and interconnect the universes. This is bad fanfic when I was like 12 years old. It was good times.
It's still bad fanfic.
Oh, it's bad fanfic now too. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Even worse if you've thought about it more.
I just want to write really good Green Lantern comics. That's what I would do. Fix the current books.
For me, I think I try to do an Outsiders team that's actually more Black Ops, Batman Inc. oriented, where they go and do, jobs that he doesn't approve of but does. So
that'd be cool.
I would go with a Kang/Time Trapper or Kronos time stream slip, so that way they can merge the worlds.
Oh no!
And Avengers versus Legion.
Yeah, Avengers versus Legion versus Defenders versus X-Men versus you name it. I mean,
yeah. I should just reread JLA versus Avengers a couple weeks back. What a great, confusing ass book! It's like
that is.
It's not. You feel like everything is kind of just so weirdly forced in, but it's so good. I love it. I love this. I love that book.
I just read The Legion of Three Worlds again.
Oh,
and that one just. I love that one, but it's just so messed up. When you bring it's Legion is twisted as it is, but then you start bringing in 3 Legions from 3 different universes.
The first time I read that, I got a headache.
Yeah,
and I was like, and this was when I just gotten back into comic books. It was when Final Crisis was like, I think about a year after, and I was starting to get more books to read. And I read Legion of Three Worlds, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like
these
just character overload. I think if you just like they all came in my eyeballs and blew out my brain.
I mean, these comics are not for the uninitiated. These are the hardcore comics for people that have the ability to understand everything, every reference in the book, because it's so freaking hard. Especially Legion of Three Worlds. I mean, get all these characters. There's so many variations of them. Same with JLA vs. Avengers. They kind of keep mashing up different costumes to different versions of the characters, coming in for just a panel or 2 at a time. I love it, but tough books.
Yep.
Toby, you want to write your Nightwing Huntress ongoing comic?
No, it's Nightwing again.
Once again, Toby, your microphone should be on when we're recording a podcast. Let's try that again.
Nightwing and Gambit crossover.
Oh, of course.
I mean, everybody here is pulling the Bendis, where they're just basically throwing all their favorite characters together and writing the Avengers and calling it the Avengers, which is really not. It's really called Bendis' favorite characters book. Yeah. I mean, I even have panels and stuff that I really like to do, but
nice.
One day.
Cool.
For fan fiction.
Cool. This one's from David, who asks, how could a comic shop get new customers in the door? What marketing tips and tricks do you use besides the podcast?
Booth babes, drugs, Omar, and HeroClix.
I was going to say HeroClix.
Which is another version of crack.
Dude, I'll open a bar next door.
It's tricky because there's kind of different ways comic buyers buy comics. There are like the hardcore fans that are here every Wednesday getting everything. There's the super casual guys coming in. Part of it is us trying to get customers that are into comics into the door, but a lot of it is people that are completely unaware that comics exist. That's tougher for a comic store to do. It's hard though when a customer comes to the door and doesn't know what they want, because I can always make suggestions to people, but they have to be willing to be open to suggestions or open to books to read. Yeah. A lot of times people just come in and are like, I don't know what I want. I just want something random. You got to try to find books for them based on their based off what they like. So it can be difficult.
A lot of times with holidays, yeah.
Yeah, well,
holidays, a lot of people come in, I want something kind of like that for someone else.
We do a little extra on the holidays, but not a ton. A lot of the sales around holidays are people, their family members buying them gift certificates. Yeah. That tends to be what half of them are. So it's a weird time. The holidays don't work quite as well as a lot of like the big, just big events, the big comics. People already tend to know these things are here. So, getting people in the door, it's hard. Location.
Well, it's also, you can get people in the door. It's just keeping them consistent and keeping them coming back.
Yeah. You got offers.
Like Free Comic Book Day brings a lot of people in, but it doesn't necessarily keep them.
No. Free Comic Day is 100% that sale for that one day. You will get some people that now know the store exists, but for the most part, it's real hard to get those people to keep coming back to the store because a lot of them won't. This is no way. Comic stores run on, for the most part, run on momentum. They've run on the same customers all the time. So, it's difficult, but it's very possible. It's very easy to do. Obviously, there's enough stores out there, so a lot of people can do it. It's just, typical outreach. We've actually, been trying to push a little more social media online. You may notice this episode will be on YouTube now. I'm trying to put all the new episodes on YouTube as well as backdate all our previous episodes, put just the raw audio up there. Another way to get people to listen. We've been doing some promotions for the Futures End big event they're doing in September with the Heroes Month 3D covers. I've also put up the Bombshell variants with the DC Comics is doing next month, I believe. It's all of June. And I've pre-sold like 10 or 11 sets of that already, and I just put them up the other day. So those type of things, more online promotion is always good to get people from out of the area interested as well. So,
now, do you think they'd frown upon if we kind of just took a van out and tackled people and brought them to the store and shoved comics in their face and said, read them?
Probably.
Damn it!
I've seen people try. I've seen a lot of stores all over the countries, even out of the USA as well, and people have tried advertising on TV, doesn't really work.
No.
They've tried handing out flyers, doesn't really work. Flyers at Comic-Con, sometimes it might pull in somebody that hasn't seen the store from out of state.
The problem from Comic-Con is there's so many people there.
Exactly. Yes.
Other places all over the world. It's
well, I think it's also. It's not necessarily getting them into the store; it's getting them into the product. A lot of times it's the people that go to the comic book stores are the ones that kind of are the best way to get new people. It's like you hand a friend a book and you say, check this out, it's really good. And if they're into it, then you say, well, I shop here. It's kind of like, because you're kind of, it's already a community, so you kind of you want to bring people into the community, but you have to be willing to bring people that are not necessarily in the community initially. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like anything in marketing, it's difficult. This is kind of a weird industry, so most of the customers here know exactly what they want. This one's from Parker, who asks, he says, Original Sin is here. It's a current big Marvel event. And he asks, so what are your guys' favorite events? Who's got an event that they really liked? I tend to like most of these big comic events. Some are obviously better than others.
Well, your wallet
Marvel's,
likes them.
No, just from a reading point of view. Because they're fun. They're exciting. They shouldn't be where the big things are. I mean, big events should happen in the comics, but just in the regular books themselves. But they seem to push these big events as the big events. So the big things happen in the events, not in the actual monthly comics. The monthly comics feel like a lot of times they're just kind of treading water before the next big event. But it's like, I mean, I get it because the worlds are so interconnected. So when you want the story to move forward, you have to do it in this big event. I mean, it makes sense, but I like it when they're when they actually affect something and change something. Yeah. I think we've had a few, even though it kind of changed back. I mean, Civil War did affect stuff for a while. I had personal issues with that story, but I can't deny its success. I mean, it did some great stuff. DC's half and half, although their events in the last handful of years have been really good. So
I liked DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths way back when. I loved Infinite Crisis. I thought Infinite Crisis was fantastic. I thought Final Crisis came too fast right behind Infinite Crisis.
Well, they just didn't have a good enough.
After that, then Blackest Night was fantastic.
Yeah,
I
love Final Crisis, but I think the problem with Final Crisis was there wasn't a unified end goal from the publisher and creator. It seems like they just sort of said, hey, Morrison, tell your story. You could do whatever you want, and then we're never going to talk about it again. Because they just completely kind of ignored it after it happened. And feel like it was never really referenced except for a couple Aftermath books that all sucked. So,
yep.
Brock, Toby, you guys got one?
Well, way back when I first started reading books, I liked the Contest of Champions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like both of those a lot. There's two of them, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like those. And then later on, as a teenager or young adult, I liked the No Man's Land stuff, which I haven't reread since, but I thought that was pretty badass back then. And the other really memorable one is Age of Apocalypse, just this epic story that's crazy yet the things that they did in the story, are believable. Like, the Cyclops having only one eye because Wolverine poked one out. That's, as a reader, I told this story many times. I went into it not knowing that it was an alternate line because I was thinking that actually really happened. Like, all of that stuff actually happened. I was like, wow. So I really, the stories in that were to me, very fascinating. Like, Gambit leading, this underground thief group, and some of the guys are completely shifted. I thought that was really cool, actually.
I actually like a lot of these future stories, even though they kind of never tend to really affect anything.
Yeah.
But they're fun. They're fun. Futures End, the zero issue, the first issue were really good. What else do you guys like?
I didn't like Onslaught. That actually drove me away from X-Men comics for a while.
Really?
Yeah, it seemed like it was too much.
You talking about the post part of it, or
I tried to read Onslaught all the way up through it, and when they did Heroes Reborn, when they tried to relaunch them, I just got tired of it at that point.
Wasn't Onslaught after Heroes Reborn?
No, that's what causes Heroes Reborn.
That's what causes Heroes Reborn.
Oh yeah,
I liked that was cool stuff, but I actually wasn't reading a ton of Marvel at that point. I dropped most of my books, but I think Avengers was the only one I was still reading then, so I really wasn't getting too much stuff. I think
Onslaught gave me a reason to step away from the Marvel and the mainstream stuff, and I went independent at that time.
Yeah.
But some of the art on that stuff was pretty awesome, though, back then.
It was pretty good, but I was in my bad girl phase at that point. So I liked the Lady Death, the She, the Witchblade, and all those at that time frame. So
it was an interesting era.
Yeah.
It really was. It's nothing like that anymore now. Yeah. You had the Chaos Comics. You had the black and white independent stuff going on at that time. Yeah. You had some of the manga started showing up. Some of the original Viz, Rama books were coming out during that time. And then you got the Onslaught and the X-Men. It was just very interesting times. Then you got the Image guys coming back to do Heroes Reborn. It was really weird time in comic books at that time.
I'll always defend the 90s. People always say, "Oh, the 90s are crap." I'm
sorry. Had Jim Lee on Fantastic Four.
I'm sorry. Some of the best comics ever published in the 90s, whether it's Bone or most of Sandman or most of Hellblazer. You have all of.
Was the Sandman all 90s? I don't know because I didn't read it at the time.
It started in 97.
Yeah,
Preacher, Transmetropolitan.
Yeah.
All these books came out in some parts of most of in the 90s, if not entirely in the 90s. Hitman, Starman. Marvel had good stuff then, despite everything else.
Marvel did have a good. I mean, don't get me wrong. The '90s had a lot of really good books.
Yeah, the Kevin Smith Daredevil, all the Marvel Knights stuff.
All the Marvel
Knights
stuff was awesome, except for Punisher.
But it was all the extras, the super hologram, prismatic, embossed covers.
Sure. That's always going to be the case where there's a bunch of people remember the junk, but then people really have to remember the good stuff, and there's a lot of it. So there's a lot of it. Well, we don't have too many story bits to or big stories this week.
Wasn't the 90s also when Wolverine went feral and lost his nose and looked completely ugly?
Yeah, he did.
Had a pirate mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's your buddy Joe Mad, isn't it?
Is it?
Wolverine got his adamantium ripped out of him.
Yep.
That was some interesting times also.
Another big event.
Fatal Attraction? When he got the adamantium ripped out of him.
Gene and Scott
I like the story.
Gene and Scott, Gene and Scott got married too.
Yeah, I like the story and idea of the adamantium getting pulled out, but I really did not like the feral Wolverine afterwards.
Yeah, when they tried when Tyler tried to put the adamantium back into Wolverine and it went bad. The process went bad. That's how it
came
worked.
Back as a horseman of the apocalypse.
No. That was way after that.
Hold on, guys. I just want you to know right now, Bryce's brain is exploding at how bad we are butchering.
All right, no.
Jim knows.
It's not a butcher. I'll tell you, Tyler, which is actually Cable's son, was posing as like Apocalypse Jr. And he used some nanites and shredded Cyber. And used Cyber's. So there was a contest between Wolverine and Sabretooth as to who was going to get the adamantium placed in him. Wolverine won out, and he was going to force the adamantium into Wolverine. The process went bad, and you got feral ape version of Wolverine with the bone claws and the pirate bandana mask. Mm-hmm. And that's what hung around for a while.
Yeah, that was a good while.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn that adamantium was because he became a horseman of the apocalypse.
No, that's how he finally got his adamantium put back in him by Apocalypse and became Death. That's what I mean. Became the horseman, yeah. But that was way after the feral Wolverine.
Yeah. No, but when he got the adamantium
and it was all a mystery because you never saw it. It was
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It was all
after the feral thing.
That was when he finally got the Wolverine, got the adamantium placed back in his body.
That's what I'm talking. So we're actually agreeing the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're an X-Men fan, the 90s are kind of your big heyday because all the characters created in there. Psylocke was either very late 80s or early 90s. Sorry, Jim. The very late 80s, it just picks up really loud. The 90s had so many great X-Men characters. Psylocke was either very, very late 80s. Or it may have been like 89. Gambit, you had
Cable. You had the blue and gold team.
You had... I'm talking first appearances. You have Cable, you have Deadpool. There's tons of all the Generation X kids.
Longshot.
Longshot was earlier. Longshot.
Dazzler got revamped. Rogue got revamped.
No, but I'm talking first appearances. Those guys were all 80s.
Okay.
Those were all 80s. There was a couple others too. I remember seeing a list of
Didn't we get Bishop?
Yeah, Bishop was 90s.
Mutant Massacre was 90s. So you had that might have been 90, 89, 90. That was right there. That was right beforehand. So definitely if you're an X-Men fan, the 90s were a great time. Although there were bad stuff too. Well, let's talk about a few of these random news stories that we have from this week. There's not too much, but there's a couple. So we have it seemed like it's almost entirely all comic movie and TV stuff this week. Not a lot of big comic news. We have had so many weeks of all this giant comic news recently, and this week it's like nothing. Couple things to talk about. So first of all, 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have a huge Arrow spoiler cast. So be caught up. The finale is this week. Oh no, so it will be next week. Yeah, so the finale's in a couple days. So next week we're gonna have a big Arrow spoiler talk. So
have it watched by Sunday.
We're gonna have Omar here.
Whoever's here next week. I mean, just a week after. I don't remember is this week or next week. I think this week maybe the Shield finale 2. I'm not quite caught up.
I think it is.
I'm going to try to get caught up, but there's a convention in town this weekend, so I'm not.
Fucking be fair, man. You got to do both of them.
Well, if I haven't seen it,
one?
If I haven't seen it, I'm not going to talk about it. So, but we will.
Right, fair enough, but still be fair, man.
Well, we will catch up to Arrow. Or we will catch up.
Don't we us. I'm not going to catch up.
We will catch up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as soon as possible. But at least Arrow next week will definitely be having a big spoiler cast for it. However, if you are listening to this now, get your DVRs ready. Set your Arrow recording for an extra 2 minutes. Because at the end of Arrow, it seems seemingly officially announced earlier today, at the end of Arrow, there will be a 75-second upcoming trailer and preview for The Flash.
Woohoo!
More than likely, this is just going to be online first thing in the morning on Wednesday, so you probably don't need to record it. But it's possible it'll only be on TV. So,
or it could air, really, really early because we're on Pacific time.
We're on West Coast, and what they've done usually with these trailers is they're up way early, so it'll probably be online. But if you want to watch it on TV, there it is.
I think it'd be a good experience to watch that season finale of Arrow
and then see the
Flash trailer.
Yeah. I mean,
that is the experience.
Obviously, we'll have a lot to talk about Arrow next week, but holy crap. Man, these last few episodes have been ridiculous.
Yeah, I got caught up last week because I've been so busy, and I crammed the last 2 episodes together. Oh, it was so awesome.
Marshall's going to give me all the episodes for Arrow tomorrow, so I'll be catching up.
Yeah, it's been so good. I don't. At this point, we are confirmed. I guess we should talk about this because everything got picked up. Arrow, obviously, coming back for another season. Flash got picked up for, I think, at full least season. Is it 26 or 13?
I want to say it's a full season. Well, I don't know how many episodes, but it's a full season, though.
I saw Gotham.
Personally, I prefer the 13 episodes.
If it's quality,
I prefer the quality over. I mean, honestly, Blacklist is one of my favorite shows when it started, and I feel like it's like half too long.
Yeah. Gotham got at least 16 episodes, I believe I saw. So Gotham got a full, at least a fullish season. iZombie got picked up for CW, which is a Vertigo book, so I'll be interested to see the take on that.
Done by the Veronica Mars guy. Yeah,
and then we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got officially a full second season, and they announced Agent Carter, based off the character from Captain America.
So it's going to be in the past?
Seemingly, which is awesome. 40s.
That means we're going to get the grandpa of the black dude in S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Maybe.
That would be cool.
Be. I mean,
that kind of connections.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be it is going to be about her starting S.H.I.E.L.D. because if you saw Captain Winter Soldier, they talk about how she was involved in the creation of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They also had that short on Iron Man 3.
Right.
And it showed her and Stark.
Right.
So they can bring back Howard Stark as well.
Yeah, and actually have him in the show. So I'm really looking forward to those.
Is that on ABC or is that Netflix?
No, I'm assuming it's ABC. Yeah.
Okay. So they had 2 prequel shows in Gotham and Agent Carter.
Yeah, and we're also getting the Daredevil Netflix show this year at some point. I'm not sure when.
Hell
but, they've been talking a little bit more about that being actually like basically put together as a
miniseries,
a movie, a 13-hour movie.
Cool.
So it's meant to be watched.
I like those better. Honestly, I like those better.
I mean, like the Netflix originals. I mean, I really enjoyed Arrested Development.
Yeah,
and I know my fiance really enjoyed Orange Is the New Black.
This is different, though. I mean,
I know, but
this is way different than that.
But it's like Netflix is that release date of like here's House of Cards, here's Daredevil, here's like it's nice to have, bam, everything there, and you're just like, everyone's like, have you gotten caught up yet? Instead of, I can't wait for the next week. It's like, have you got caught up yet?
No, at that point, it's I can't wait for next season. I don't know what this will do during the whole benches. I don't know about this whole concept.
Well, I would assume we're going to get one show every quarter. So Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and the Jessica Jones. So we'll get one every 3 months. I would think that would be a good way to do it.
It's a good
3
rotation.
months is 12 to 13 weeks anyway, depending on how many days fall in on the calendar from when what would be its release day. So there's your 13 episodes. So basically a full year all in a row. I think that's the best way to do it. And I can't even imagine having these shows like this.
My only
it's
worry,
ridiculous.
I'm a huge Daredevil fan, and I'm actually really looking forward to this one. My only worry is that they actually don't have the rights to Elektra, and nobody is bringing it up. Elektra is still with Fox.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought they both came back.
They can't touch Elektra right now.
Huh.
So they'll have to do a first season without her and hoping that they get her to the second season or not touch her at all.
I mean, one of my bigger concerns is if this is coming out in 2014, there's nothing like Constantine, Flash, they all have trailers, they all have, they've all been filmed.
Yeah.
They all have their pilots done. What are they waiting for? They haven't even signed anyone as far as I know. And so it actually coming out this year seems unlikely, but they still say 2014 for Daredevil.
Could be at Christmas.
You shipped those Daredevil trades last year or something too.
I would think January, February, and March for Daredevil, and then quarterly in 2015.
I feel like some of these shows are coming up when it's not in season, right? So Christmas, I could see that, or like some of the summer. Maybe it comes in summer. I mean, which is soon.
Yeah, they haven't even announced an actor. It couldn't come out in summer, but
maybe it's a surprise.
Yeah, maybe.
Although I really do want.
We're all blind to it.
I really do want Netflix to do a Punisher too. Punisher would be badass as Netflix.
Well, they could have the cast already and just waiting for Comic-Con or something in order to put out all the information.
But a lot of times, so much stuff is leaked and rumored beforehand. There's been nothing on this, so no one's been.
Well, I'm waiting
yet.
for my Asian Daredevil, so just saying.
Iron Fist. Also, in the movie front, we have Zack Snyder.
Wait! We're not done with TV.
Oh, what's
the
up?
most important one, Hellblazer.
Oh. Of course, I was going to get to that. Hellblazer, the other DC show coming this year.
Constantine.
Constantine. Yes, based on the comic Hellblazer. We got the full 3.5 minute trailer. It was a huge trailer.
3-minute trailer.
Assumingly this all comes from the pilot of the first episode of Constantine, which will be out in the fall. Fridays, I believe it was announced.
If all that is in the pilot, like you said, it has to be at least a 2-hour pilot.
Yeah, it has to be.
It looks fantastic.
It does. It looks like a movie. It looks like a slightly lower budget horror movie, but it looks like a movie. This is not shot like a traditional TV show, at least from the clips they showed us. I thought it looked fantastic.
Hey, if DC wants to keep on rocking on the TV shows and let Marvel take care of the movies, the big budget movies, go for it, man, because it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was great.
I don't think it looks better than Walking Dead. That's just me, though. I don't think it looks that good. I also don't like that his clothing is very new looking. It's not raggedy.
That'll change.
And worst of all, I keep seeing Stifler in the dude. I keep seeing him going to go start and bang the truck and going on to fuck everybody's moms.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Just watch it. Watch Stifler and don't watch him.
And if you know me at all and my love for Lost, a couple Lost alumni are on this show, including Harold Pierno, who was the angel that they showed at the beginning. Michael on Lost. And then, what's his name?
Maybe it is Michael.
Jeremy Davies, who plays Daniel Faraday, also has a very quick cameo in the trailer.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
So, yeah.
Glasses.
I don't think he was wearing glasses.
He had a good line in there, though.
He had a one line, but that was
but it was a good
line. He was
line.
standing in front of next to the portrait,
painting
right?
or something.
Yeah, I know that. That guy's in Justified.
I'll be honest, though, I kind of like the look at the movie better than this one, but there's budgetary constraints.
The look of the Constantine movie?
Yeah, I actually kind of like the look of the Constantine movie.
I never saw it.
It wasn't bad. The guy who they got to play the devil was awesome.
Dude, that's one of my favorites. Peter Stormare. He's one of my favorite actors of all time.
He was amazing.
He's amazing at every movie. He is amazing in Armageddon. He's a crazy Russian dude in space. He is in Bad Boys 2, where he's like telling people, "Don't shoot. I'm one of you," and then he starts shooting everybody. He's just a bloody genius actor. I love him.
I could barely watch the 3 or 4 shows I watch right now. I don't know where I'm going to find time to watch these 10 shows next year.
I might have to upgrade to DVRing now with all of this stuff I'm going to have to watch.
I DVR everything, and I still don't have time to watch any of it, so I'm not sure where I'm going to go from here.
That's not a good advertisement to get me on the bandwagon.
Yeah, you got to find time to watch it. Really, the only thing I had this week was Zack Snyder, director of Man of Steel 2, took to Twitter to post a picture of the back half or the back tail end of what is believed to be the new Batmobile.
The trunk.
Yeah, with the with the line, "Could be time to pull the tarp," which the tarp is covering the entire thing. Tomorrow? Oh, and a question mark. So that is today. So tomorrow we may have a new Batmobile, which means, for the love of God, the costumes should be soon. Like Superman, I'm assuming is the same, but Batman and Wonder Woman,
We might have red underwear again.
I doubt it. But Batman and Wonder Woman, I mean, obviously everyone wants to know what these costumes are going to look like. Wonder Woman probably the most. This will be the first time. Batman, I assume, will get some variation of the...
He'll probably have a little more armor, like in the video games.
No. I think it's going to be pretty similar to the Nolan. I don't think they're going to go too different.
It's probably going to be.
I think it's going to be like the 66 Batman, spandex and all.
God.
That'd be cool too. That'd be cool. Bat nipples. But Wonder Woman,
hell no.
Wonder Woman really is the one that I know everyone wants to know what it looks
'cause
like.
we have to know pants or shorts
Or short shorts.
or short shorts
No.
or bikini line. Like
No, she won't have pants, but
Like,
it'll be
it's
full
literally-
cover.
There's
hold
a supposed leaked maybe picture. That actually looks pretty cool. Or it might be someone's artistic
All
rendering.
the leaks are fake.
now.
Yeah.
Now I want you guys all to imagine a Rob Liefeld drawn female. Okay?
No.
And
Okay,
then
anyway,
Shut up.
so
Shut up. Move on.
anyway-
short line.
Shut up.
And then go down the leg
Brock.
and then do pants.
Shut up.
Anyway,
You guys are no fun.
no, we're
You know
not.
that. No.
So
No fun bus.
obviously, Wonder Woman is the one that everyone's really looking forward to.
Well, they
because
went
we've
with-
never had a movie Wonder Woman, so
They went with the new 52 for Superman. I mean, I can't see them going straying that far off of the Batman and the Wonder Woman.
right. And I don't think. I mean, I just don't see them going full short bathing suit or skirt. I think she'll get some sort of full leggings. I mean, I really don't care if it looks good. It looks good. I mean, I know people who they cut Wonder Woman's hair and they flip out like someone killed their parents. I don't know what it is with that character that people get so obsessed with. But there you go. So
I think you hit it right there. But
okay,
how does the butt look?
there you go.
Shut up, Brock.
Jesus Christ.
Shit, this is a no fun bus.
You know, I mean, I kind of don't have anything else. There's like no news this week, so I guess I'll read a few more. I'll read a few more questions. Here. We got a bunch of emails.
Go for it. That's what you said at the beginning of this podcast.
Yep, and now I'm doing it. So, it's from Tyler, who says, first of all, he says, I'm the guy who posted my pictures taken with Chewbacca and Darth Vader on Twitter.
Oh, hey, what's up?
So, those are great pictures.
Have you played him yet in BattleNet?
No, I don't ever. I mean, I barely ever play Hearthstone right now, so I just don't have any time.
I still need to log in to get my daily.
Tyler says, "Hey guys, this last Saturday, so this is a week ago, was my first free comic day since I started reading a few months ago, and I picked up the first issue of Teen Titans Go. I gave it to my 10-year-old brother, and he seemed to like it. He also watched this cartoon and recently told me it's his favorite show.
I wonder how many of those kids are watching Arrow now. It's fucking Slade. He's killing people.
Maybe,
What's happening?
maybe. I'm the only really nerdy person in my family, and I would love to confront anyone I can. And my brother's birthday is in a couple months, and I think it would be cool to get him some more comics. Other than Teen Titans Go, what would you guys recommend for a 10-year-old boy? Also, how was Free Comic Day at your store? Thanks for keeping up the awesome show. Well,
Deathstroke miniseries, Deathstroke trades
for little kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it set up right.
Well, we talked about Free Comic Day last time, so hopefully you heard that episode where we discussed Free Comic Day at length. And as always, it's a lot of fun. But for recommendations for a 10-year-old boy, 10 is starting to get to that age where...
It's the hard range.
Well,
It's like
Well,
the
it has
hard
to be
age.
cool.
yeah, 10 is where I tend to have the most difficulty with parents when they come in because they're not little.
They're not stupid anymore.
So you don't want to direct them just to the little kids' books because I know when I was 10, I was reading all the Marvel and DC stuff that I could get my hands on.
But I wouldn't give them Walking Dead or Vampirella or something like that.
No. But I also probably wouldn't give them half of today's Marvel and DC books. Not that I think they're bad. I think they're just on a weird level that...
They're more like the PG-13 rating now, and it's...
They're different than even when we were kids. I mean, I go back and read early 90s comics, and there's still somewhat of a simplicity to a lot of them. Not that there isn't, today. But, again, it's all parental if you think, or sibling or whatever.
A good place would be the Star Wars books. The Dark Horse Star Wars books kind of stay fairly...
They're as violent as anything else.
Yeah, but I mean...
Like I said, it all depends on what you're comfortable with. Stuff like all the animated stuff. They have Beware the Batman. They have Teen Titans Go. They have Tiny Titans. I mean, all these things like Asterix and Tintin. I know Toby's
Batman
gonna like
66.
those. Sure, Batman 66 is good. Ultimate Spider-Man is probably pretty good.
I was going to say that. Ultimate Spider-Man
Yes.
is probably the best one.
So there are a lot of good options. I know I've given like Superman, Batman, like the first couple volumes, the Jeff Loeb stuff. So books like that tend to work a little bit better because I think there's a lot of comics out these days. There's just a lot of people talking to each other about continuity things, and it's like if you don't know the stories, I don't you want something with some action, but stuff that characters know. So, like I said, this is kind of the weird age.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me the Miles Morales Spider-Man is actually not bad.
Yeah, I've stopped reading all the Ultimate books
Yeah,
years ago, so I have no idea.
I'm assuming if it's anything like the original Ultimate Spider-Man, that's just probably a pretty good book for a teenager.
Yeah. I think it's just you need to find. It depends on the parents. It depends on what level of violence they're comfortable with their kids.
Yeah.
Most don't care at all. So, but again, I always want to tell people. Yeah, Jim raises his hand. But I always want to make sure people...
At 10, I had Fist of the North Star comics, and nobody said anything. But I also think that my parents had no idea what Fist of the North Star ever was.
Sure.
Until this point, they probably have no clue what happens in that book.
By the time I was 12 and 13, I was reading Hellboy and Sandman and Sin City and Heavy Metal, all right? I mean...
Heavy Metal right there.
Yeah. So...
Well, I think that...
I've read the issues with, like... There was an issue of Heavy Metal that had frickin' a story about... this is the reason I got it, was because... what's his name?
This so sounds like a starting out.
Don't say Druna.
No, from freaking Guns N' Roses. What the fuck was his name?
Axl
Rose. There was like a Axl Rose story inside an issue of Heavy Metal.
You're a Guns N' Roses guy?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like first 2 albums, sure. Like everyone else, yeah. Welcome to the jungle, man. Come on.
They lost
awesome stuff.
They lost the illusion on the second one, I think.
So there was again. If you like Star Wars, Brock's recommendation on Star Wars isn't wrong. It's just
like Knights of the Old Republic is more humor-esque than
humor.
But, I mean, you're not getting bloody violence like Sinestro's ripping off Kyle Rayner's arms in Injustice.
There's a lot of violence in the Star Wars comics.
I was going to suggest Green Lantern. Then I thought back to Kyle's girlfriend being folded up into a fridge, and I was like, maybe not Green Lantern.
10? I mean, is that really that bad?
It depends on the maturity
because
of the child.
I think I saw all of that when I was 10. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, most kids today have already seen horrible stuff on the internet.
I'm pretty sure all these 10-year-olds are watching Game of Thrones at this point. Maybe not.
These kids are exposed to like Kim Kardashian and all this other stuff, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah, it's
again, it's a case by case basis.
Well, yeah.
I mean, back when I was 10. I remember picking up a Werewolf by Night number 37 or 38, with him ripping apart a whole bunch of hunters inside the book. I thought it was fantastic, and my parents didn't have a problem with it. But today, with the way everything is, I'm sure a lot of parents would still have a problem with a lot of the horror books.
We could do Batman Little Gotham.
Maybe I wasn't 10. Maybe I was 12. Maybe it was like 2 years later.
Little Gotham, definitely one of those. And,
hey, my boy Dustin Nguyen.
Yeah. So there's a lot of suggestions. They do have like a teen rating or all ages rating on most of the comics, so you can kind of look at that. Otherwise, if you like shows, if you likes, any of the cartoons like Cartoon Network, a lot of those have comic versions. If you watch My Little Pony, there's
the old X-Men Adventures books, Batman Adventures books.
Basically, any old comic is fine. Any of these 90s.
Like 80s, or like 80s.
Yeah.
90s. That's not, Dark Knight Returns.
I got a very, very long email here from John. But it's not actually very, very long. It's a long email, but I'm going to read it because I think there's a lot to do.
Just so everyone knows, and we're clear, a long email is something that's over 140 characters.
It also means it's like 2 years old because he never wanted to read it on air.
It's from 12 days ago. It's fairly recent.
Holy crap! I think that's
not bad.
That's current.
Yeah, that's the most current email we've ever had.
So we've talked a lot at length, I think, about the various DC movies and properties that they have coming out, and why it seems to kind of take a while. And email here from John, who seems to have some insight into this.
Ooh.
I follow the stuff on the comic end. I don't follow the stuff on the movie end or the kind of the bigger. When it comes to who's the president or studio heads, things like that.
This person had dinner with this person, and
I tend to
going to do lunch.
I tend to not have any interest in that stuff. But he does give some possible reasons here on why we haven't seen anything till recently. He says, "Hey guys, Just thought I'd share my thoughts on the discussion you were having on the podcast last week about DC's film division and the announcements that have been made about the Justice League. So a lot of the comments were pretty negative and were very dismissive of the plans that DC have in place for the future of TV shows and film. There is always a comparison with Marvel, which is expected, but I don't believe it is the fairest comparisons due to both companies being in different positions. Unfortunately for DC, they didn't have any kind of real direction or forward planning like Marvel did until 2009 when they created DC Entertainment and made Diane Nelson the president. And even then, because of the power struggle Warners were having for the CEO position, Diane wasn't really able to implement anything because nobody was sure what the direction the actual company, Warner Brothers, as a whole was going to go. Then in 2013, Kevin Tsujihara was made the CEO, and ever since then, it seems that DC is really striving forward with the content they want to put out in regards to TV and film. Arrow is a great show, and as of right now, the show's other shows, I think he means the company's other shows, in production, such as Gotham, Flash, and Constantine, look quite promising. And obviously, we've now seen a lot of that. In regards to films, Man of Steel wasn't perfect, but it did have some great moments, and I generally think that moving forward, the films will get better due to their new stability within the company. So basically, I think people should be more positive about DC Entertainment's output and not so dismissive. The company is in a much better place right now than has ever been and seems to be really active in trying to get a ton of projects going. Keep up the good work, John. And
us or DC?
I think we talked about this in that same episode, and I've definitely said this before, but I'll say it again right now. That's exactly what I want to hear, and what I kind of assumed was happening. Not so much the power struggle end, but that DC finally got whatever was, or Warner Brothers finally got whatever was preventing them from making this all go forward. Because we've had fucking like 6 shows coming out, and all of a sudden there's like 4 or 5 movies of them not been, turned into. There's talk of all these different movies being options, not the word because they own the company, but all these movies are being finally greenlit, and we're finally at the point now where the ball's rolling. And hey, if it takes to 2020 for DC to be in the position Marvel is now, that's fine as long as it's happening.
Well, I think it's. I mean, it might have to do with kind of the old view that DC had or Warner Brothers had with the movies and stuff, right? I mean, they had the Batman franchise, and then they had this, or the Superman franchise, and then the Batman franchise, and they kind of had their time, and then, fizzled out, faded away, or in some cases just bombed. So there's kind of a hesitance there to go back to that. Right. So I think that's maybe what was going. Like, if there was a power struggle going on, it's like you have the old way of thinking versus the new way of thinking, where it's. Yes, we know movies can bomb. This is not new information. If we do our best to make it so that they aren't bombs, then we'll have a quality product. Where if you're comparing yourself to Marvel, yeah, Marvel had Iron Man, Thor, Cap, and Avengers, but they also had Incredible Hulk. They also had Iron Man 2, Iron Man 2. They had some movies that
you mean the highest grossing movies they've ever done? Yeah. But, I think the problem is, I think the problem was that they didn't have this stability in place, which they now have. So that's the important part. And like I said, if going forward, this is what we're doing, then awesome. Yeah. But if not, then,
Well, because the thing is, we
won't get anything else.
I mean, yeah, use Marvel as an example, but also use them as an example to learn from. Build on what you had. I mean, Cap. What they built with Cap, Thor, and Avengers is building a lot of momentum, and so they're taking Marvel's taking the risk with properties like Guardians and Ant-Man, but they're utilizing these, tying them in with the other movies, with the Infinity Gems and Thanos, and so it's a slow burn for the big payoff in a year or two, but it's because it's not necessarily about that. It's about the characters right now. But we're planting the seeds for something in the future. With Arrow, we had
But we're not talking story elements here. I mean, the whole part with DC and Warner Brothers had nothing to do with the plots of the movies. It's entirely just can the company pull this off? Do they have the people in power? Do they have the stability? Do they have the go-ahead at all? And it seems like they finally do now, and that's the important part. I've had a lot of people say, I don't see why you want all these comic movies or whatever. They're awesome. Even the bad ones, I still will go see. So
I know you watched Catwoman in your own home.
He watched Ghost Rider: Spirits of Vengeance.
Hey! Now that I will defend to the end of my days because that movie is fantastic.
It's so bad, it's funny.
It's bad. So fantastically bad, but it is amazing. Okay, so but I do want there more comic movies and TV shows and posters and toys and comics and everything. I want this stuff to be everywhere, and we're like, there it is. I mean, there's just so much of it. So I want to see them succeed, and I want to see more movies because who fucking doesn't love comic movies? That's all I got.
I mean, I'm cool with more stuff. I mean, seeing like every time I watch that Gotham trailer, I get tingles. That Constantine trailer was awesome. I can't wait for Flash's trailer. Like, and it DC has done, and Warner Brothers has done a fair enough job with the TV shows, with Smallville and Arrow, kind of leading the way and then building on that. And then the Flash, them going, well, we can introduce him here, but let's just spin it right out of that. It's like, don't, Wonder Woman, they did that pilot, right? A few years ago. And it's like, well, now they're trying to tie it in with the movies and spin it out with the movies. And it's like, yeah, if you spin it out of something, it'll have a little more momentum because you'll carry from whatever you had before. So, I don't know. Their animated is doing fine.
Yeah, DC's animated is doing fine.
Yeah.
and their TV series are doing fine, too.
Yep.
And
except that Beware the Batman, right?
But yeah, that's getting canceled. So, All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Jim, you have something to say?
Nope. I'm good.
You leaned in. I thought you had some reason that you're going
I'm good.
I think you thought you were going to talk about your con experience.
No.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Short episode this week, which is always refreshing.
It's always refreshing because you get to
go
home earlier.
Normally go like an hour and 45 minutes for something ridiculous. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Jim, thank you for being on.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I know you're sticking around for a little bit. Don't know if you're going to be here next week, but
I really don't know my schedule. If I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm listening. That's for sure. So
excellent. Thank you. Geekbox.net is where you can find this episode and all our other episodes, as well as comicsconspiracy.biz. You can also find them on our YouTube channel, as I'm slowly starting to put them up. There's 2 episodes up.
What two?
So number 1 and number 157.
Oh, so they get like the classic, Ryan and Brock, and then they get the current.
So tonight will be 158 and number 2, and I'll just a couple of weeks will go up. So. Again, it's just audio, but it gives people another way to listen to the podcast if they want to listen to those old episodes or watch it on there. Some people are obsessed with YouTube and watch stuff on there all day long. So now you can listen to this there.
That would be my daughter.
It should be youtube.com/comicsconspiracy1 should be the page. If you just search for Comics Conspiracy 1, because I am Comics Conspiracy, like my own. I took the page, but I can't change it now. It's weird. It's like linked to my own personal account, and I can't switch the page around. So if you want to see me post I think I have a video from a 45 Grave show and like some audio track bug from the DuckTales remastered game. It's like what's on my YouTube page that I posted. Like that's what's on there. If you want to find this podcast and other videos and our original Sin trailer that went up and somehow got like 19,000 hits in a day, and all sorts of other stuff, you can go on our YouTube page and I'm trying to update stuff. I'm going to try to get these trailers up there for all the different movies and everything. It's just I got to see what I legally can put up there. I have no idea. Is YouTube still this lawless land that you can just put whatever you want, except for like can I put a movie trailer
until they say no, or until you get hate mail from them.
Until they take it down? Like
exactly.
Yeah, it seems to be like this. I don't know what I can put up there, but I'll put up what I can. So like the Marvel stuff, I can. Like they gave us a preview for Avengers Assemble, the animated series, so I can put that up there. So I'll put up whatever I can. Forums at geekbox.net. You can go there and talk to other people. As contact forum is on the page of geekbox.net, as well as comicsconspiracy.biz, and you can send us an email, thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. We all do a bunch of random other crap. Brock's got his blog and video pull list over at conspiratorBrock.com.
And on YouTube.
It's
all on YouTube, so you can check it out there. Maybe you'll link and connect us.
Maybe.
Doubt it.
Omar's got Comics and Decline, and Charlie's got the Insanity. Or the Insanity.
The Insanity.
Charlie's got the Insanity.
Insanity in the 4th dimension.
Charlie's got The Infinite Longbox podcast, as well as Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension at wanderinfourD.com.
It's hilarious because every time I'm listening, he struggles with that every time.
You're like the only person that listens all the way through. You
Charlie,
this,
change
right?
your podcast name. It's difficult to pronounce.
You say it with like an echo in your voice. Try that real quick. Just say it with an echo.
No. We're all on Twitter.
No
Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Omar is Jesus. Omar is Comics and Duckine. Bryce should be
edit any of this out.
Bryce should be Larson Bryce on Twitter. Toby's TobyXI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. And Jim is
LD Exterminator.
LD Exterminator, not Sword something. Okay. If you want to go talk to Jim on there. You never post on Twitter. I never see you post anything on there.
I don't have a life. I have a life and I haven't had a chance. So.
Yeah. And we sold the Geekbox Patreon page is up at patreon.com/geekbox. So go up there. I think that's it. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. You can go up there and buy some digital comics from us. You can only buy it from the website now. You can't buy it in your app anymore. I think the Android app still works. It's weird. Some of them work, some of them don't. I don't know what the hell the problem is. So go buy from our site. You should buy it from there anyway.
Remember, we have the comic book club. Charlie's comic book club pick is Justice.
Oh yeah, that's going to be 2 weeks out.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 3 weeks out.
Yeah, no, 2 weeks. The 26th. So 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and then
Justice.
Yeah, Justice.
Yep.
And then make sure to pre-order your 3D covers for Future's End.
Yeah, if you go on our website, we have 2 weeks left to place our final order for Future's End. The Heroes month, which is going to be in September. We have the 3D covers and 2D covers available for full sets. For people that want, we also are going to have full sets of the DC Bombshell variants, which are shipping next month. We've already had to place our final orders for a few of them, but until I sell out, I'll still honor them. We've got like 14 sets unspoken for, and if I don't have wall copies, I don't have wall copies. So there you go. $70 will get you all 21 comics. So go on.
Well, that's
comics.
for the Bombshells. What about for the? Yeah. What's your price for the Futures?
$119.99 for the 2D set and $149.99 for the 3D set. Free shipping in the U.S.
Now, are we taking pre-orders for specific issues?
No.
Okay.
No. So just full sets.
Oh, sorry guys.
In-store subs can do specific.
Unless you're a mail order sub.
Ooh. Could you do that too?
Be a mail order. Get us some. Get us. We'll ship them to you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you once again for being on the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.